Hey y'all, welcome to Dark Sugar Podcast. I don't know why I'm trying to, this is just like not safe. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to this is so stupid. I'm trying to vlog, but it's just really, I don't think this is gonna work. I know people do this and drive and go places and stuff. I just don't, wait. Okay. I'm going to McDonald's and this is just not how I pictured things. Hold on. There's a really huge truck trying to go through the drive-thru. Oh my god, it fits. This huge ass car. Okay, hold on, dude. Okay. I may cut this. Hold on. Hi, can I have one sausage McGriddle and a caramel medium iced coffee?
Anything else?
That's it.
Nice window first.
Thank you. Oh, the stuttering though. Okay.
Medium caramel iced coffee and a sausage McGriddle?
Yes.
This will be $5.84.
Thank you. Next window. Oops. I went too far. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm just waiting for my food. No. Thank you. Okay. I did it. All right. So, there's an ambulance coming soon. Should I turn now? What do I do? Okay, I'm just gonna go. No idea. And then let me turn around. It's right behind me. I was just thinking yesterday that I was the last of my friends to drive. All my friends had cars before me. All my friends got their license before me. I started driving at 22. And then I think I got my license when I was 21, I think. And I just remember feeling such an adult, because there was a moment where I was am I ever gonna drive? Am I ever gonna become independent and live life? There was a minute where I was I don't know. But yeah, the only reason why I'm recording today is because I've had so many people ask me, when am I dropping an episode? What am I doing? And you know what? I'm just sure. Okay, here I am. Here we go. Fine. That's how I feel. No, but honestly, this is really good for me. It feels like OG Dark Sugar Podcast days when I would just record all the time and just get all my feelings out and just kind of let it rip and just, have it be a therapeutic thing for myself. So I feel like I'm getting back to those roots. Sorry guys, I'm kind of lost. I'm trying to stop at this park that I like to eat and talk to you. And now I am like, do I need to get out my... No. I got it. I think I can do it. I'm just gonna go straight. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this audio. This just like, I had to take it off video because this is not working. But then I'm just talking and driving, which I do feel like I'm just kind of like talking on the phone, but at the same time, I'm not talking on the phone. Let me just pretend like I'm talking on the phone. That might help. Do not do this. Don't advise. But yeah, guys, it's just been a whirlwind of a couple of months. A lot has been going on. A lot has been going on that I can't even talk about, which is just crazy because I feel like I normally just spill it and say everything and disclose everything. Or maybe I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is I would like to say more than I actually can. And I'm kind of like, because I can't. Anyway, but what I can say is I want to talk about projection real quick. Because projection is a defense mechanism, trauma response. It's a thing that we all do, right? Like, I've done it, I do it, you've done it. And we've seen it on scales of, I feel like a normal dose, I would say, of projection to maybe pathological projection that, really affects and impedes on your relationships, interpersonal relationships. So for me, let me just start with myself, right? How I lean into projection is a lot of the times I expect people to act, think, do, and believe what I believe. And I feel like this is just a sign of my ego wanting some, wanting to be affirmed in some way. And maybe that's a reflection also of the ways I struggle with affirming and validating myself, and I know a lot of people like that and do that on different levels. And for me, it's just like I kind of maybe feel offended if somebody doesn't think the way I think, or I feel like a panic inside if somebody thinks differently or says differently or disagrees with me. And it's like, logically, I know that disagreeing with somebody and somebody disagreeing with me is a normal, healthy thing that very little has anything to do with me personally. Like, I know that, but still sometimes I'll have these reactions inside of like, oh my gosh, they don't think what I think, or I don't know, it's like super weird. And then also I can go on the naive end where let's say I consider myself like a good-hearted, kind person, right? Which I do, which I am. And I'm not like trying to sound like I'm better than people, because that's not what this is. But sometimes, sometimes I will feel like, oh, okay, everyone's like this. Like, everyone has the same morals I have. Everyone thinks what I think. Everybody, And that's like not true. So then I'll get shocked when somebody, I'll just get really shocked when somebody treats me bad, or when somebody doesn't react to a situation or isn't reacting to me the way I would react to me. I get kind of like, what's wrong with them? Oh my God, or da-da, instead of just being like, Yana, everybody's just not you. Everybody's not me. Not everybody's gonna do what I do and think what I think and like what I like and treat me how I would treat me and treat other people how I would treat other people. Like, it's just not like that. And it doesn't have to be a character flaw on that other person. It can just be as simple as we're different people and they're not me. And I've had to kind of learn that the hard way and discover that the hard way about people, to stop being so hurt all the time and to stop taking everything so personal, because that's what was happening to me. I was taking everything personally. I just felt like an open wound, just walking around. So no. And then, as you all know, I consider myself a recovering people pleaser, in a roundabout sense of the term. And in that aspect, there's some construction. God, they're just tearing up like downtown, like Central Phoenix. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but what was I gonna say? Fuck. Okay, projection with people pleasing. In that aspect, I think what ends up happening for me is that I'm the older I get, the more this subconscious narrative becomes more and more apparent to me. Oh my God, dude, go. Sometimes people just get confused when they're driving. I'm saying some people, like, I don't also get confused. Like, this isn't me getting confused sometimes. Like, you just heard me a minute ago. But anyway, I realized that I had this subconscious narrative of wanting to be saved, right? And I would hear that. People would say that to me. I would read that when, discovering more about my personality type across the board. And I would just be like, oh my God, that is so not true. I don't want people to save me. Like, why do I keep seeing this and feeling this? And when people, that would be like my diagnosis. Like, well, you just want somebody to save you. And I'd be like, what? No, I don't. And I really don't feel like I do. However, I see that me projecting my wants and needs and desires onto other people, because I feel in some way that I can't reach success or my desires or goals alone, is a huge act of projection. And I've done that in my relationships, like romantically. I've done that in some friendships, but specifically romantically, I've done that, like dating people, feeling like, and I think it's this narrative in society of, oh, you need a man, or you need a partner, or no, let me go back to man. You need a man to succeed and be wealthy and be taken care of and whatever. And I would just do that to the extreme where I felt like, oh, I'm with somebody now, I can relax. Like, kind of like I got lazy, and it's kind of like, well, I'm with so-and-so, so they can just take over and get all my needs met. When it's like, no, I still have goals and my own dreams and my own this and my own that. Like, all that doesn't stop just because I'm with somebody. And I wasn't aware of that. So now being aware of that, I see that being my own projection. Okay, now talking about other people. I'm done talking about myself. I had to, smooth it over talking about myself first. But with other people, I've been noticing that other people, like, when you get in a fight with somebody, when there's a misunderstanding, when you feel like somebody's acting shady towards you and you can't figure out why, when somebody's just like spewing toxicity and you're feeling like gaslit because you can't figure out what you did wrong, I'm like 9 times out of 10 that person is projecting in some way, like 9 times out of 10, because the last couple of months, the shit that I've been through with other people and the misunderstandings and the emotions and the crying and the pleading and why doesn't this person understand me and can't they see that I'm showing my heart and I'm being honest, and oh, they're misunderstanding. No, they're not fucking misunderstanding you. They're choosing to not like respond consciously like they do understand what you're saying, because them admitting that they get what you're saying would be also admitting that they have a lot to work on and something's wrong with them. That's what I'm realizing. I take a lot personal. I think a lot of things have to do with me when they don't. And I finally got to the park, y'all. I finally found this park, so I just parked. But a lot of stuff has nothing to do with me. A lot of people's plights and their insecurities and their what else? Like, I can't even think of what else could be going on. But so many times, and this ties into mental illness and mental health too, because, you know, I was diagnosed with bipolar. I was going to say last year. Wow, no, not last year, the year before. And, you know, there's some suspects of borderline, and I'm as I'm talking to mental health professionals, shout out, but no offense to any of my, mental health professionals that I'm working with, but I can definitely tell in talking to them that there is a lack, like there are things that aren't being researched as much as they need to, and I can tell that borderline is one of them. I've been doing a lot of research into quiet borderline, which is what it sounds like I have, which is just borderline, but it's a type of borderline how it presents. It just honestly just seems like not as obvious, not as outward, more inward focused, but it's still borderline nonetheless. It's just borderline personality disorder. But I'm noticing the more and more I take less personal and the more and more I understand people, because y'all that have been on this journey with me, you know that I've went through my journey of discovering I'm a people pleaser, went through my journey of discovering that I'm an empath, my journey of discovering like healing, supernatural things going on with me. Okay, cool. So I feel like all of that has finally come to a point, right? To a, I can't think of the word, to a I keep wanting to say cultivating. No, that's not it. To a, whatever. I've reached the summit. That's what I'm trying to say. And I finally feel like my empathy, I'm learning how to use it. I'm learning that it can be turned on and off, and when is the appropriate times to do so. I'm seeing that my empathy towards other people, being able to see, quote unquote, why toxic people do the things that they do, and feel that how they feel, and being able to get them and understand them. No, that does not give them a pass. No, that does not mean I have to be the bigger person. However, it does give me freedom to release the bounds of any guilt and shame that I'm picking up off of whoever the fuck I'm dealing with. Because that allows me to see, wait, if I can see that it's them, then I can't really walk around and keep thinking that it's me and I've done something wrong and that there's something wrong with me. And I feel like what did I do wrong? And there's something wrong with me, and oh my God, everything's my fault. That whole narrative that we get sucked into, especially as people pleasers, I feel like that's our inner child's thoughts that are still lingering with us. And we need to elevate and mature those thoughts into, wait, as a child, it felt like everything was my fault because I didn't have adults around me who were mature enough and had the skills to take responsibility. Therefore, I absorbed this lingering responsibility as a child. As an adult, I can see and understand that shit that I felt as a child was not my fault, and therefore I can recognize the pattern now as an adult of sometimes thinking things are my fault when they're not. And personally, and I know a lot of people, but I'm just going to speak for myself. Personally, I do that to gain a sense of control. If it's my fault, then I can control it. If I had something to do with it, then that means I can fix it. Maybe there's some hope. Maybe if I can think and overthink it through, then maybe some way I can break it up and break it down and flip it over and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like sometimes, especially as a people pleaser, as a perfectionist, as someone who can be very controlling, right? The hardest thing to do is to admit that some situations have nothing to do with us. And when I'm dealing with people, more than whatever behavior they're presenting to me, I think the hardest thing to recognize and realize is I cannot control them. I cannot control who that person is and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And oh my God, if they could just see it from my end, and if they could just get some healing here, and if they could just blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you can't just make anybody do anything. And over the last few months, I've been really breaking that down within myself, and it's liberating. It's ego shattering because my ego wants to be in control. And I have this quality in me that I don't like to admit that it's there. But after studying the Enneagram so much, and I'm an Enneagram 4, shout out, 4 wing 3, I have recognized that I can, in order to compensate from feeling insecure at times, I can lean into this aristocratic, I'm better than you, my way or the highway, uppity, bougie. I don't mean to, and it's like I'm not trying to do it on purpose. It's just like a defense thing that I've recognized I've done since I was little, and I can feel it come out. And I'm sure every once in a while there will be a person who I meet who will think I'm fake, or they think I'm whatever, and I get it. But when I see this in other people especially, it helps me see, okay, we all have our different coping mechanisms that we do to try to protect ourselves against, and honestly, it's against ourselves. Because to really break that down and to let that go and be like, wow, I have no control, and this is where it's just hard to admit. I don't like to admit that I can lean towards that vibe when I'm insecure, and so I recognize that. And so when I see it in other people, I can't help but go, okay, they're going through something, they're insecure, they're this, they're whatever, okay, all right. It's hard, y'all. And I recognize that I don't have to be the bigger person all the time. I used to think I did. I used to think, oh, I have to, because I can see it, because I'm so empathetic. Excuse me, y'all. I'm about to get this iced coffee from McDonald's. My students, because I teach 7th and 8th grade social studies, right? They're very into social issues via TikTok. Oh my God, McDonald's. This is the sweetest. Oh, it's because my straw was at the bottom. I have to stir it. Yo, I was about to freak out. That was the sweetest. So my straw was at the bottom of this iced coffee, caramel iced coffee. So I just got straight caramel sauce, and I thought that was the whole drink, but I just didn't stir it. Okay. But my students get their news via TikTok, and a lot of them have been like, Miss, like, we need to boycott Starbucks. We need to boycott McDonald's and all these, pro-Israel quote, quote, companies or whatever. But I had to explain to my kids that it doesn't really matter what you buy or what you do. Your money goes where it goes, and that these boycotts, they're It's more so the message. Personally, that's what I think. Because I'm just like, guys, everything you spend goes to places you don't want it to go. Doesn't matter where you boycott. Anyway, but yeah, recognizing projection within myself with other people, it's very humbling, to say the least, if I'm being really honest. And then that's another thing. Being the bigger person, I noticed that I was being the bigger person a little too much. And in being the bigger person, that was my way of having more control of the situation. Because I was like, well, I can be the bigger person. And I noticed sometimes where I was like being too nice or being too big of the bigger person to try to make that other person do what I want. And I'm like, wait, if I'm being the bigger person, it's just fucking because I'm the bigger person. It's not too. You know what I'm trying to say? I know I'm talking like very general in this episode, and I'm not like speaking that specific, and it's because I can't. However, I'm just seeing y'all where a lot of stuff has nothing to do with me. And it's so wild because you want to, and then if it does have something to do with you, that's how you get into the he said, she said, I can't believe she did this. Well, she can just pull up, or I don't like her. Well, F her mom, or I don't do this. And you're talking about this person for weeks and months, and you're letting them get underneath your skin, and everything they do gets you. And maybe y'all are going back and forth, or maybe you're just hearing, gossip from somebody else about this person, about what they're saying about you or whatever. But if you just go, wait, actually this misunderstanding or this person not wanting to understand or whatever, that has nothing to do and especially if you know that person's insecure. And then half of the time these people are scared of you. Like, I just realized that the other day. I'm like, these people are fucking scared of me. And the crazy thing is that that's wild for me to wrap my head around, because I'm scared of me. That's how I act. That's how half of us act. People pleasers. You're a doormat, this and that. You get in all these toxic relationships and you don't know why. You're scared of yourself. You don't want to be big. You don't want to be you. You don't want to let yourself be great. You're scared of yourself. Meanwhile, these people that are being shady and manipulative and hateful and vengeful and whatever, they're scared of you. Like, that's what I had to deal with this past week, y'all. I'm dealing with somebody that's scared of me, and I'm scared of them. They're scared of me. That's why they're acting like that. Can't even fucking tell you what's going on. But however, these toxic people are scared of you. Don't be scared of them. And if you're a believer in anything beyond this realm, then you know that you should not be scared of anything that can breathe. Fear no man. And that's what it is right there. That's the lesson, y'all. That's what's been soothing me and calming me down from just wanting to fold under all this pressure. I'm just tired of taking shit so personal. I'm tired of I'm tired of allowing other people to faze me so hard. It's just getting old. I'm just tired. I have so much I need to pour into myself, guys. Even me just doing this episode right now, you know what? I can't tell you how liberating this feels to just talk. And to just get it out and have my thoughts make sense. Projection. Whew. Let me look up the actual definition. Projection in psychology is the psychological phenomenon where feelings directed towards the self are displaced towards other people. A defense mechanisms of concerning inside, mistaking to be coming from the outside. Yeah. An example, a married man who's attracted to a female coworker, but rather than admit this to himself, he might accuse her of flirting with him. Another could be a woman wrestling with the urge to steal who comes to believe that her neighbors are trying to break in her house. How to know when someone's projecting onto you. Oh, I have to sign in. Oh, no, I can read it. Okay. Exaggerated reactions, unwarranted blame, negative language, defensive reactions, emotional intensity, lack of self-awareness, distorted reality, shifting responsibility, boundary issues, toxic amnesia, selective memory. Wow. And it's unconscious. That's what's wild. Because when there's projection happening, it feels like a record scratch. Like everything's just all off to me. And I'm just like, what is going on? But it's unconscious. And people do that when the emotion is outside of their window of tolerance. It's just way too much. There's so much going on in the mind. The emotion is too hurtful, too traumatic, too something. Hasn't been processed properly. Yeah, and I'm seeing where so much is, and I'm working on that with my kids, with my students right now, because being a teenager, it's such a sensitive fucking age, right? And your teenagers' brains are wired for community at this time. It's heightened. Community is heightened. Friends, peers, caring what other people think, that's at an all-time high right now. If you ever wondered why kids are so swayed by peer pressure and why there's such a focus on peer pressure and talk to kids about peer pressure, is because that their brains are highly susceptible to peer pressure, literally, chemically. And so I try to explain to my students, like, yo, if someone's talking about you, or someone's doing this, or someone is friends with you 1 second and they stop, or if this guy is treating you this way, or this girl's tripping, you need to start to recognize early that this has nothing to do with you. That this person's insecure, that this person's this, that this person's that. Like, I'm really trying to help them and get them to see. So they don't grow up super ignorant or super, just walking around hot all the time, walking around just ready to pick a fight all the time. And a lot of them come from environments like that, where they have to be that way to be okay emotionally, physically, mentally. They have to be on the lookout. But I want them to keep that readiness inside of them, but sprinkle some, discernment and awareness where they're able to slow down a little more and read situations and understand human psychology and what is going on in the brain. So yeah, guys, that's where I am. But I've been doing good. There's been a lot going on, but I'm good. And I feel like I just woke up out of a daze. Yeah, I feel like I've been hibernating. I don't know what it is about this winter season or what it is, but I've just been feeling more aware in general. And I feel like I just came up from something. And it's exciting. And I'm excited to share more with you guys. And As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for staying present with me. Thank you for following in, checking in, commenting, sharing. The fact that you even still remember that I exist just means a lot, y'all. Stay blessed.